What is up, Internet World, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're bringing the 2022 Mini Cooper JCW. Know what Mini is. It's this small, little, ultra compact, fun, zippy car. But what is JCW? It's called John Cooper Works, and that's what this is. This is a 3-door John Cooper Works manual transmission, fun little go-kart. But who's its competition? So let's talk about it. You see, back in the day, this is a small compact. It's so small that it never had any competition. But as time goes on, we want bigger, and bigger is better. So this has become bigger, and when it becomes bigger, the competition flows in. So let's talk about who they are. The Volkswagen GTI, yes, competition. Even the Hyundais, the Kona N, and the Veloster N, yes, competition. Tough stuff, tough stuff. So what do you guys think? Do you think that you would buy this guy without watching this video, or would you buy a Veloster? That's on you. In the 2022 Mini Cooper JCW, or John Cooper Works, manual transmission, turbocharged inline-4 that makes 236 pound-feet of torque and 228 horsepower. Flip it up on you. Let's get to 60 in 6 seconds. Put it in sport, leave traction control on. Start and stop off, because this thing shuts off like crazy. I've got sport, mid, and green. Well, we're sporting it up. All depends on the tires. Little squawkies in second and third. Good amount of torque though, man, on this little motor. So let's talk about the flaws right off the bat. People say that this thing is stiff. It is hard and stiff. And it's not stiff when you're just regular driving it, but when you start hitting like divots and bumps, then yeah, it does bounce back pretty hard. And it is stiff, but it's a Mini, and it's smaller and tossable, and I just love the little squeak. So I had a 2006 Mini that I owned, and very similar to this. I feel like it's pretty much the same. This is just better insulated, and that was convertible. And I find that that one was also it just needs better tires off the bat every time. I feel like every Mini just needs better tires. Like, this thing is like $5,000 more than a GTI. But let's talk about the BRZ. Because when I drove the BRZ and I drove this, when I first got in, I'm like, this is very BRZ-like. And there is that tension between them. But this is just more unique. And the BRZ is just more tailored for somebody that wants a cool, younger, sporty car. This is just like an everyday, anybody can get into it. It's unique, it's different. You can't get the same one if you don't want it. You can change up whatever style you like. But watch me on how I'm driving. It's just so easy to drive, and lots of glass, which the BRZ didn't have. I just find that the internet's really funny. They say stuff like, the back seat is so small. I think that's small. Inside here feels claustrophobic. I don't feel claustrophobic. It pulls really good. But in today's day and age, I'm like, this kind of money, this is almost $40,000, which is a lot of dough. And it does 60 in 6 seconds, which is kind of slow. Not super slow, it's still fast, but it's 6 seconds. In 2022, I feel like everything does 6 seconds. Stuff does like mid-5s, mid to higher 5s that cost way less. That's kind of tough to eat.
Yum.
You're really just buying for uniqueness and personalization and the fact that it's a BMW, so it has a BMW stamp. So if you're considering buying a Mini, you know, and I know, that all Minis don't look the same. That's why people love them. You can get all kinds of options, like cool, red roof, rebel green, stripes, sick. But you see, you can get this in a convertible and a hardtop such as this. And when you get a hardtop, you can get it in a manual as a 6-speed, and you can also get it in automatic as an 8-speed. But when you get a convertible, you can only get an automatic. You see, the older ones, you could have had convertible and manual, but no more. This is how it's done in 2022. So the front of this Mini is actually really good looking. I love the way this front looks. I love how they have this Porsche vibe right here, and they've kept the original circular lights. They are now obviously LED. This whole headlight housing is LED. I like this black around. I love this color, and I even like this $200 option for these front bonnet stripes. So on the bumper and the grille, you'll notice that it has this red stripe going across, and this is because it is a JCW version, so red is the theme when it comes to them. It also has this nice badge on the front. But I will say there's a few things that I'm really ticked off about. One is that it has an inlet here for the intercooler, but on the other side, it is completely closed off. And secondly, on the front hood or bonnet, this also looks like it has an intake of sorts, but it's actually closed off, which is kind of silly. It should be functional, but they do have this black cool Mini badge and a lot of black, piano black on the front and a lower valence that's nice. So hey, I do like it. So to the side of the Cooper, and it's, well, a Cooper, but I do like how the split of the paint looks, and I do like the red mirror caps. Now, if we talk about this, let's go from the front to the back. It is nice because it's got wide fender flares on both sides. It's got the coolest gas cap. But what's not cool, Mini, is that this is like your top of the line performance version. And what kills me is these wheels. Not only are they ugly, they need spacers so bad, so bad. If you stand here and look, I feel like I can put another wheel next to it. There's a gap of like 3 inches, and it just drives me crazy. But I did not forget about the most iconic piece of this Mini, and that is the trim. You see, most cars start here and flow all the way to the front and stop at the A-pillar, but not this guy. This goes all the way around the car like one big circle, like you're with Hot Wheels playing against your buddy. Let's talk about the dicky of the Mini. My favorite part of the car is this. I just love the way this thing looks. This is like super hot hatch, and it touches my heart. So let's start with the spoiler. Look how it's rounded. It's cool. It's got inlets. It's got this little dip right there. Third brake light. Yes, they have the wiper here. I totally get it in this specific case. It's black everything. You got the John Cooper Works. You have these Union Jack taillights that people talk all about. Reviewers, that's all they focus on. It's basically the flag, and you got to put it together on both sides. Pretty cool touch. I do like it. But my favorite part is this lower valence. It's wide, it's low, it's deep, it's awesome. Let's hear the exhausts, because they look fancy. The Porsche was larger than this thing. Wow, this thing is tight. But I still fit in it, so booyah with that. But come take a look at this back. It does have a little bit of depth here, but it really cuts off as you get higher. But you can put these seats down by pulling these little thingamajiggies. They pull and they fold 60-40. Pretty cool. Underneath here, we have a lot of storage space. You know what? I should have pulled this out, and then I should have got in here, and I would have had more room. It's like going from one of those fancy hotel rooms, and they charge you like $500 more to get an extra 100 square feet. So the back seat of the Mini Cooper, how much room do I have? Now I read a lot that there's not a lot of headroom here. Well, I'm 5'9", and I still have enough room, so somebody that is 6 foot can definitely fit back here. One thing I will say is, check out these headrests. They look really funny. They've got leather on the bottom and Alcantara on the top, kind of like a person wearing a hat. 2 eyes and a nose and a smiley face. Looks really funny, but how does it feel back here? And it feels good. The quality is really good. I like how they're suede on both parts of the seats. There's this stitching across. There's 3 cup holders for 3 people, I guess. I don't know how you'd fit back here. I do have a nice sunroof for myself, so I don't feel claustrophobic. That's a nice touch. And yeah, everything feels pretty solid. Nothing to really complain about back here. Unless, of course, I go over a huge bump and then I'm smashing my head. So the interior of the Mini Cooper, and it's like no other car on the planet. The inside is quirky as heck. Now, let's start off with the infotainment. It's an 8.8-inch screen, but check out these lights all the way around. This does really cool stuff when you turn the volume up, you put it in reverse. It just gives you different themes of lighting right here to make you feel more engaged. Now, many engineers talk about the handshake theme, and this has to do with these little switches. It's like you're shaking somebody's hand when you push them up or down, as you see. They're like switchies. Now this MMI system or infotainment does have wireless CarPlay, but not Android Auto. So the Apple boys will rejoice. And everybody else will have to deal with this heads-up display that pops up like a Kia. That's exactly what it does. It shows you good information, but it's fairly basic. It's like wearing sunglasses and then projecting stuff on it. And then there's the gear shifter. This thing has the longest shaft I've ever seen on any car. It is 6-speed, feels fairly solid, but again, just kind of weird. And then the buttons down here are very basic. Now it's supposed to adjust everything up there, but to look down here and to adjust it makes you feel like you need glasses, and I'm not 50 yet. But I do like the fact that they have actual physical buttons for a lot of things. Like you'll see there's a rotary knob, there's buttons. They did all three. It's not like they just kept rotary and buttons. They did rotary, buttons, and then the handshake buttons underneath it. So kind of a cool thing that there's everything here. Even the screen is touchscreen. So they've integrated everything. But it's just a little bit too much for my liking. If you want to know where the wireless charger for your phone is, it's actually hidden in the armrest, rather unique. And it's got this little slider that you have to put your phone in and you slide back and then it charges it right here. And it even thinks my hand is a phone, I guess, because the light just came on. But it does not fit an Apple 12 Max or a 13 Max. You have to keep the regular Apples for it to fit. So, kind of weird. But let's talk about the real deal, and that's the seats. The seats hold me in very, very well. I do like this leg extensions, pretty awesome. They're manual on both sides, no power for me, no power for you, and well, this is just a John Cooper work, so maybe they're trying to save weight, because this thing weighs 2950. Under 3,000 pounds is money. And then there's this little cluster that's half analog, half digital, trying to mix it all up, but the most important piece I see here is that 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers, because I'm thinking about that fuel mileage when am I worried about it when I buy a Mini? I don't know, let me know. But the weirdest thing about this car is the handle. When I pull the handle open, you will see it's not just a regular handle, it's got the unlock and lock right in the handle, which means there's a lot of electronics in here, or a switch. And this switch, when this does this a few times, may or may not work in 5 years, my opinion. This is the M version of Mini. Some also call it a 0.5 series, which kind of makes sense because it's smaller than a 1 series. So, what do you think, Mike? What do you think? The motor's good. The tach's whack. Visibility's amazing. And I wanted more from the exhaust. I'm like, I look at these exhausts and I'm like, they look aggressive. They look like small car, nice twin pipes right in the center. I like that, but then I just don't hear it. Lots of manufacturers that put out a 4-banger turbocharged that sound really good in the exhaust. And it's a Mini, and you've got BMW's money. So I think Mini needs another Austin Powers, because that way it ties into like this unique, fun, crazy, wild piece that you can totally customize to. So I wonder if you can get a Mini with every flag on the planet and put on the roof and do this like marketing thing where they're pushing marketing where you can totally customize it, kind of like Porsche, except just way more fun. That'd be kind of cool. Thinking about it. What do you guys think? Comment below and let me know. And as always, thanks for watching Accelerate. Big thanks from me and Ian for subscribing. See you on the next one.